Okay, so today I thought it would be fun to do some like questions and answers on here because I haven't ever done like a non-horror video on YouTube, and also I would like to grow my audience more on YouTube because I like the audience on YouTube a lot, just because okay, this is it ranked. Worst of all time is Facebook. The people on there are literally brain dead. I'm actually so serious. Second worst is Instagram, like, because when you post on Instagram, no one sees it anyway. And then I love TikTok and I love the TikTok community, but it is a little bit like problematic. And also it feels like this is my issue, but I feel like my followers on TikTok are everyone who is mean to me and they're just joking with me. Like, that sounds like psychotic to say, but it's genuinely true. Like, I don't think that any of those followers are like actually, like, I think that they're real people, but I think like a good 70% of them are just like people that don't like me and made fake account bots to follow me and make me feel like also. Okay, so this is my drink of today. This is a latte in a can, iced latte, but the original packaging was much, much cuter, and then they changed it to this disgusting Mr. Beast packaging, and it looks like literally like shit. Like, I don't know who decided that. It's totally fucking insane. I can't even tell what that says. Oh, that's the English one. But that looks like shit. Dude, god damn it. If you don't know, I am a graphic designer. Graphic design is my passion, unfortunately. Also, I feel like living here, like in Vancouver, everybody wants the benefits of being in a big city, like lots of restaurants, lots of people watching, like they want like the benefits of being in a city, but then when they actually have to like look out for others and like build community, it's so every man for himself selfish. It's like, I actually hate driving here. I hate walking around. That's a little bit off topic, but it's something that I've noticed, and it's gotten way worse. And I think COVID it made people not know how to socialize. And this is really bad to say, but it feels like the people that were really used to being alone for a really long time didn't regress as much as the people who were used to being really social. Like, I was used to being alone a lot. So when I was alone during COVID, I was going crazy for sure. Like, there was this thing where the girl next to me, like I was in college, and the girl next to me was always talking really, really loud to her boyfriend, fighting, talking, whatever. And I was so lonely. I would like put my ear up to the wall and listen. That sounds fucking psychotic, but like, it was so lonely. Like, it was so lonely. So yeah, like, I just think that the people that were used to just always hanging out with someone socially regressed in a way that is like, literally everyone is like acting like prehistoric monkey rock age. And you can really see it with the looks maxing vibe of people and like the raw butter vibe of people. And that's really big here too. Like, there's so many raw milk butter people here. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna get into the questions. And these I asked on my Instagram, and I'll probably do it again. But I've had the worst week of my whole life. Like, there's things that I physically cannot tell people on the internet because it's like almost like an NDA vibe. There's those things going on. Also, I just have been going through a lot of like interpersonal stuff, like issues and stuff that I probably can't tell anyone ever. And also my AC, I can't put my AC in, and it's 98 degrees in Vancouver because my landlord said no more AC units that I have, which it actually should be illegal. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell someone what kind of AC unit they can use if it's not on the lease. Whatever. That's why I pour fucking grease down my sink. What the fuck? Okay. And the thing that inspired me to make this video was randomly on my Explorer on YouTube, there was like this girl that took 1,000 milligrams of edibles and then went to Disney World and filmed the entire thing. And like, if she can do that, I'm pretty sure that I can film a Q&A. Like, it was the most entertaining, most vulnerable thing ever. Okay. That sounds like my perfect day though, alone at Disney World. Also, I don't know if this is going to come out before or after, but if it's coming out before, my long legs review is really seriously on the way. I don't want to say anything yet. I have so many thoughts about it, and I think that was like, it crept up and became like my number 2 most anticipated film of the year. And if you don't know me, Mandy with Nicolas Cage is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I think that he's genuinely one of the best actors in the entire world, and I'm not even kidding. Like, I think his intensity is something that is like, it's almost witchcraft how good he is at acting. I also said I was going to do all of them, but it turns out that there's a lot, and maybe I won't get through all of them. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try though. So the first question is, this isn't the first one. I'm just going to read them in the last one that came in. What's your favorite snack? I actually want to say every single thing. This is really hard because the only food that I dislike is raw tuna. I don't really like, and I don't love mushrooms. I will eat them, but I don't really love them. Everything else I would eat in the entire world, actually. So I don't really have a favorite snack because I just eat what's around. But I think my go-to snack is popcorn and also apples. And that sounds like a little bit suspicious, but it's because I can eat like a lot of them and I don't feel like really sick. Because we're going to get into this because there's a question about eating disorders, and I want to get into like my experience. But because of my experience, if I have a food in my house that I like too much, it's pretty much over for me. Like, I will eat the entire thing. I'll eat every single piece of it just to get it out of my mind, out of my house, because I'll think about it. So my favorite snack is probably like chocolate, but I can't have that in my house all the time, or else I just eat all of it. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't make you feel good when you eat like an entire pound of chocolate in one sitting. Okay, someone asked tattoo ideas for myself. I used to think that I wanted a full sleeve. Now I think that the tattoos I have are my perfect amount of tattoos, but I do want a star somewhere, and I do want another cat tattoo for my other cat Mochi, because I have a cat on a skateboard for my cat Coco, but I would like another one for Mochi because she needs her own dedicated tattoo for sure. I really want a tramp stamp. Maybe like that geometric kind of Gen Z tribal tattoo. I really, really like that style. And I would love a Betty Boop. I would love Betty Boop tattoo. I think the next one I was going to schedule before I was like deciding I want to save money is I wanted to get Betty Boop cherries. And they were like, it was like a cherry, but instead of the fruit, it was Betty Boops. And I really, really thought that was cute, but I'm not rich, so I need to wait a little bit. It's also really, really hard here because tattoos are like, it's a huge thing here in Vancouver. It's like, the cooler the tattoos, like the cooler that you are. And I don't love that vibe because I think that it becomes like a status symbol kind of thing. And like, tattoos are not really for rich people. They're for poor people. Like, that's kind of the whole thing about them. So I don't love getting tattoos here because it seems like, I don't know. Okay, someone asked me my thoughts on the Saw movies. I love the Saw movies. I think watching Saw and not understanding the twist until the very end for like the first time, I think I was like 15 or 14, that changed my life. I think they're brilliant. But I think the last one, Saw 10 or whatever, Saw X, that one was actually bad. And not bad like it was a bad movie. It was just really, really corny. And for some reason, everyone loved it. And I felt like I was going insane. Like, I really thought it was corny, but I liked it still. I will always go to a Saw movie in the theater. That's one thing about me. I'm really intrigued by like the Bear Trap one and the Angel of Death one. Those two traps are, I think, my, like, the ones that I think about a lot because I'm scared of being in them. And I think my most unrealistic fear of like dying is definitely like torture dying. I just think that I would definitely be awake the whole time because I'd be so mad. So I wouldn't just like gracefully pass out. So that's one thing that I'm really scared of, because if someone started torturing me, I'd be so mad. My whole life is fueled by anger, and like I don't know if that like makes sense. I'm a Leo sun, and I feel like my Leo sun has gotten stronger with age. Okay, this one says, what are some things that helped you stop binge eating? Also, I love the podcast. First of all, thank you very much for listening to my podcast. It makes me a little bit that's like the most vulnerable I've ever been on the internet is on my podcast. So like sometimes I get really kind of nervous about posting on there, thinking that what I'm saying like is stupid. So thank you very much for saying that. But binge eating, like this was my problem for my entire life that I didn't know that I had. But every time I felt out of control, I would just binge eat a lot of food, like. And I would gravitate towards foods that were really rich because they'd make me feel sick faster, which was my favorite feeling in the entire world. And no one takes binge eating seriously, but like it is such a life-changing disorder. And I think people don't take it seriously because it's not as glamorized as like the other eating disorders. But when I obviously the binge eating disorder stays with you for your entire life. Like it's like a thing that is in the back of your mind all the time. But what helped me was to like start eating normal sized meals that were like nutritious meals, like balanced meals, and then following that strict plan for like 6 months. And then after that, my body kind of like regained its ability to intuitively know when I was hungry and when I was full. And then I just followed those cues now. And now I can follow those cues, but it is so painful at first. Like I remember like when I was trying to stop binge eating, because I would just constantly have a bag of chocolate chips that I would eat when I was doing something. I would just constantly eat chocolate chips. So that's how bad it was. Like I had to always be eating something. And when the chocolate chips got a little bit too expensive, I would switch to like frozen fruit, because then I could just eat it all the time. And it was really cheap, and it was like frozen pomegranates or whatever. And then I would like, my favorite foods were like really rich foods because they made me feel really sick if I ate a lot of them. But now, after I kind of healed my like relationship with food in that way, where like I tried to be normal and then it like got better and better, now my favorite foods are really different. Like I like stuff I never really thought I would like, and I have different tastes now. I don't really love rich foods anymore. Like by rich foods, I'm talking about like Alfredo sauce, a lot of like eating like 20 breadsticks, like stuff like that, like milk chocolate with caramel inside. But I would eat like 3 bars. I would buy like 3 of them and eat them. Like now I would rather have kind of more complex foods. Like if I'm gonna eat chocolate, I would like to pair it with something else to make it more elevated. And like that's also where I got better at cooking, because when you're not binge eating, you're not thinking about how much food can I make, you're thinking about how is this going to taste. And people don't realize binge eating disorder causes you to like, it changes your perception of everything, because eating is like, everything revolves around eating. Okay, someone also asked for advice on following your passions. I'm the worst person to ask for this, because my passion is I love working with my hands. With like, I would love to be an SFX person in movies, like especially horror movies. I want to do SFX. I want to take classes. I've started like learning from home some stuff, and I'm naturally a really good sculptor, and I'm really good with painting and color and stuff, because I was a painter and I went to school as an illustrator, graphic designer, so I can illustrate. That's my passion. And I'm not on that journey right now. Like I need to wait until I'm in a better place to market that skill, because that's just not a career here where I live. But for following your passions, it's kind of like you need to know that you're never going to get confidence from anything else. So like you're never going to get the amount of confidence you would get by being good at your passion than you would from anything else. So if you want like true confidence, that's really attractive to have confidence. Like you need to be following that. And what your passion is kind of what makes you feel like yourself. And I'm not the expert like by any means, but in my experience, when I'm doing something that makes me feel like rock on, this is literally myself, or when I'm doing something that makes me happy, like that's my passion. And I know that I have a passion for horror because I've been to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal like 3 times or something. And that's like the ultimate haunted house experience. And every time I've been there, I actually was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I just really, really love horror. I love being there, and I love SFX. The first time I saw an SFX museum, I freaked out. There was like a creepy kind of like museum where I used to go to college, and I think about it all the time. I just really, really like shit like that. Like, it's really, really fun to me. But yeah, you're just like, there's no other choice, is my advice, because you're going to think about it and you're going to think about it. So you need to do it because you're going to think about it. And would you rather just do it or think about it? That's kind of the thing. Also, like, do not worry about people judging you and stuff. Like, that's actually, I'm one to really talk about that, but if they're judging you, it's because they're stupid. My most embarrassing story is, I have to say, my most embarrassing story is definitely getting hit by a car, because that was like so embarrassing because I had to go to school because I was biking to school and I got hit by a car in front of everyone, and then I had to go into school and say I got hit by a car because you guys, like, it was really embarrassing. But that's kind of like more like a sad vibe. Like, my most embarrassing thing that was actually embarrassing was like one time I was working at this place and I was fighting with my boyfriend at the time, and it was a really, really, really long, really, really bad text, like emotional, fucking crazy text. And I sent it to my boss, and this is like before like unsend and shit like that. And this was like before that thing where you could turn on airplane mode and the text wouldn't send. I sent it to my boss. And he was like really, really cool about it. He literally said, I didn't look at it at all, I just deleted it. But I think that he looked at it because I would have looked at it. Like, it was so long. It was like one of those messages where you click it and you have to scroll. That was really bad. Okay, another one is, do you play video games? If so, you should play The Quarry. It's like an interactive horror movie. Okay, no, I don't play video games, but I've been wanting so badly to get into horror games because I'm at the desensitization point where movies do not scare me anymore, because I've been so not desensitized to violence, but like desensitized to I don't know what's happening next. And I feel like if I start playing games, I will be in the position of the person, so I'm more scared. Like, I love to be scared. Like, I really miss being scared. And that's another thing about long legs, is like, I need to talk about that, but I really wanted it to scare me. And that's all I'm going to say. But I just really, I would love to do that, and I'm going to put it on my list because I want to do Little Nightmares, and then I'll do that one. That might be a fun content activity as well. Another one is, how did you get into graphic design for work? Okay. I chose graphic design out of necessity. So I was an illustrator, and then when I moved here in Vancouver, I realized there is zero opportunity for that. So I was working retail, and every day after my shifts, I would do like interactive design and graphic design courses trying to get my shit together. And I was able to get a graphic design job basically by luck, just by applying to a bunch of crap. But then I started to realize that I really, really like it. Like, I do really like graphic design. Like, I like all design. Do I want to do it forever? No. But if you have an eye for it, it's something that you will succeed in, because a lot of graphic designers do not have a visual eye. And you can tell because Exhibit A, like, this looks awful, dude. I'm probably getting sweaty and it's gross. I like have the AC on, but it's like whatever. There's also a lot of really, really nice messages on here, and like, I actually can't describe how much that means to me. And I was talking to my friend today about how I make videos because I have never felt accepted in anywhere that I've ever been, especially like going to Catholic school my whole life. Like, I just felt like such a total turd weirdo. And so I've grown this thing where all I really want is to make people around me feel accepted and feel like they are understood. So the fact that I'm getting a lot of like really nice messages actually means the world to me, because that's all that I want. Nothing is worse than interacting with someone and you feel judged or you feel like a weirdo, because that's literally how I feel every single day of my life. So that's really, really sweet, and it just actually means the world to me. Another one is, how do you find niche content in movies? Unfortunately, I have to pirate a lot of them because they're not on streaming services, but what I do is I go on Letterboxd and I look at someone who I like their taste, and I stalk them and I stalk their lists and I look at their lists. Someone said, what was the best experience you've had watching a movie in the theater? X. When I saw X, I felt understood on levels that I can't even put into words. Like the aesthetic of it all, the art direction, the design, the slasher campiness of it. Like, I felt so inspired to kind of continue in my own vision, because it felt like I watched something where someone just understood what I was talking about. Oh my God. Okay, now that I'm looking at all of them, I definitely can't answer them all in this video. I will make another one for sure. I'm gonna save these, but someone asked advice for ED recovery, recovering from Anna, and I wanted help. First of all, like, I don't think people are admitting that this is an eating disorder that like 90% of girls have, and no one talks about it. And there's like this undercurrent of like it everywhere you go. So it's one of those things that's like so fucking hard to, like, first of all understand, second of all treat, because it's everywhere and it's so like socially enforced. But my best advice for body image issues is like, what I'd like to do is like, I think about if I had the exact same body as somebody else or somebody younger, like, would I look at them the way that I'm looking at my own body? And how would I feel if I said out loud, like, I'm not happy with this because I'm ugly or I'm gross? How would I feel if like I was saying that to another person or someone younger than me? That breaks my heart a little bit. And like, it's also one of those things where your body, you cannot like be your best self if you're not fueled properly. So you can't really achieve your passions if you're not fueled properly. Like, you need to fuel yourself so your brain works. Another thing with Anna specifically is like, it's not worth the cost of never enjoying anything again. And I feel like I know so much because having binge eating disorder is the exact same way. Like, every time I'd go out with my friends, I would think about if I'm going to get enough of the food that we're eating, if I'm going to be able to eat as much as I need to feel like actually sick. And I feel like if you ever want to like enjoy an outing again, like, you need to understand that the habits you're building in your head will never go away, and you won't really be able to enjoy stuff. And that's like the whole point, you know, like, is enjoying it while you have it, because it's not going to last forever, and we're not going to be able to enjoy stuff forever. We're going to be dead and gone and dead. But I'm really sorry you're going through that, and you're like so not alone. And TikTok right now is so bad with like reinforcing like ideas of eating disorder behavior. It's actually insane. Someone said, who are your favorite horror directors? Number one, I gotta say Ty West, just because my favorite movies are Ty West. But I also have to say Brandon Cronenberg, and I have to say John Carpenter. It is unfortunate they are all men. I know that, and it's just part of the deal, because women haven't really been working in film for that long. We haven't even been working in the entire world for that long, so men have had a jump start on us. But I'm sure when I'm like 50 or when I'm like 30, there will be way more women horror directors. I'm already really excited about Caitlin Cronenberg's stuff. I really like Two Main. There will be more women horror directors, I promise. I'm actually really excited to answer the rest of these. Like, it sucks that I can't. It's just like, it's so fucking hot outside. I'm gonna do a couple more. One is unpopular opinions on style / self-expression through clothing. I have to say that an unpopular opinion of mine is like people dressing punk in fast fashion clothes. Like, you are not a punk if you're dressing that way. And also like people thinking that style is something that can be bought through fast fashion because it doesn't really make sense. Like, if you have a personal style, like, you want those clothes to last as long as possible. And if you're buying them off Shein and Temu and shit, like, those clothes are not gonna last a long time. It just doesn't really make sense. And also, I understand it's expensive to shop other places, but I'm not rich by any means. And I only shop secondhand because I don't want to shop fast fashion. And would it be easier to do that? Yeah. But clothes are so much more than just like arriving at your doorstep. It's like texture, and like the weave of it is different. And like even like the difference between cotton and pre-shrunk cotton can make the hugest difference in the way you feel when you wear it. It's just like clothes are so much more than like a package. It's so much more than a Pinterest board. It's like you wear them every day. Like, you should feel great in your clothes. You should feel like it should feel good, and it shouldn't feel plasticky or like uncomfortable. Another unpopular opinion that I have is that I don't think people admit how much Black culture is the root of like what's popular in fashion. And every time I see like people wearing like things that are just like extremely from Black culture, I'm like wondering in the back of my head if they're thinking about that. Okay, my last question, because the rest have been a little bit controversial. I'm going to talk about what's your favorite genre of movies apart from horror and why. My favorite genre apart from horror is dystopian fiction, Hunger Games. I watch zombie movies that's horror. I'm trying to think of like other movies, but I read a lot of books that are dystopian. I really gravitate towards it. If there's a dystopian movie in the theater, I will see it. Even like environmental disasters, like I love that shit so much. I actually love it so much. So I love that genre. I also love 90s rom-com genre. I find it really like relaxing to watch, but not all the time, because like I kind of lose interest in it a little bit. But I love dystopia, and I love rom-com from the 90s specifically. Rom-com after the 90s is actually like a total balls. I don't know what happened, but it's balls. Also, I was watching Kinds of Kindness, and the Colleen Hoover movie trailer popped up on like the beginning part, and I didn't know It Ends With Us is literally about an abusive marriage or an abusive relationship. Because I'm watching the trailer, and he's like punching the shit out of her, and like it's romantic. That's the book that everyone's been loving. And they say the horror fans are fucked up. No. I do not romanticize the horror movies like that. Okay, I'm actually sweating my balls off, so I need to finish the rest of them in another video, but I will get around to answering them, I promise, because I really want to. And I think this is a great way for me to talk about some things about me, because I only do like reviews and stuff. I don't really talk about me a lot. Thank you for watching, and thank you for clicking on me. And I would love to do more casual videos. I'd love to do maybe like a vlog if I do something fun, but honestly, I can't even stand around here without people looking at me like I'm totally insane. I can't even imagine what would happen if I brought a camera somewhere. It would be literally insane. People are so judgmental here. I used to go to Florida and people were walking around completely naked and no one cared. Here, do not think about going outside in this. Everything is literally prim and proper put together. And that's in the Pacific Northwest. The Pacific Northwest is not friendly. No, it's literally not friendly. I'm used to like the Southern friendliness, I guess, which the South has its issues, but there is a lot of Southern hospitality vibe. Okay, bye and peace and love